Good morning, everyone. I hope you're well and that you have been enjoying the parable series that we have been covering this year on Jam Online. Just now, you have watched the parable of the lost son, and this is the third parable that we have been learning about this season. Remember, parables are stories that Jesus told people to tell us something about heaven and also about his love for us. So, in the video, we were introduced to a man that has two sons, and one of the sons one day came to him and said that he wanted to go and live his life and he wanted to go out and see the world and requested half of his money. Now, the father did question this and probably didn't really want him to go, but he eventually then said, no problem, gave him the money, and away he went. So the son didn't spend the time or the money very well, as we did see in the video, and he wasted it on people who didn't care about him and on things that were really, really selfish and things that didn't really matter. And then all of a sudden, the money ran out, and then he was left in a bit of a bad situation. So he then was greeted by another man who gave him a job of feeding his pigs. And he was so desperate because he was in total, utter sort of desperation that he even ate some of the pig's food. That is just in how bad of a place he was. He had let his whole life run away with him, and he really, really was in a bad way. And he even thought to himself, I know that the servants at my father's home are getting more money than this and are treated better than this. And so it came to mind that he would go and actually offer to be a servant for his own dad. And while he was there, he would go and say sorry. So the father, however, back home, he was continually looking out for his son and waiting for him. And then that one day, I'm sure after a lot of waiting, he saw his son in the distance. He ran to meet him. He wasn't angry with his son. He was overjoyed and he was so happy to see him. He rejoiced in the fact that his son was home. And the story tells us that he put on a robe, a ring, and sandals on him, and that he was so pleased that they had a feast to welcome him home. The son now did say sorry to his father, and he realized that he had sinned against God and he had sinned against his father. And we know that we can learn a lot from this. And actually, at the end of the story on the video, it said, it's never too late to say you're sorry and ask for forgiveness. God's love and mercy for each one of us is everlasting. And that is so true, everybody. And that is something that is really, really wonderful, that God does have mercy for us, that he does have love, and that he will always welcome us back when we say we're sorry. He will always rejoice in the fact that we will come to him. And just as the father of the lost son rejoiced, like I said, in him coming back, God rejoices when we come to him. And when we ask him into our lives and ask him to be our savior. We can all make bad choices. I've made many bad choices, and I know everybody else in the world also through things that they say or things that they do. But we know that it's good to be able to recognize those wrong things, ask for forgiveness and say sorry, and then God, he forgives us and he rejoices in the fact that he is our savior. And just like the father who had a son who once was lost, he then was found. When we turn to Jesus, we are no longer lost. I hope you have a lovely half-term break and really, really remember this story of the lost son.